Yo guys, what's going on? Burt Crown coming in with another video on what I think Hut overalls will be. And today is going to be left wingers. So we're going to dive right into it. We're going to see what we got. We're going to see what we got for the top 10 NHL 25 left wingers and make our prediction on those players on what their Hut's going to be. Again, leave in the comment section down below if you think my overalls are off, if you think they need to be higher, or do you think EA steps it back and takes a lower route and brings the overalls down to slow down progression. But let's get into it, guys. I hope you do enjoy it. If you do, hit that thumbs up. And we're going to be diving into centers, defense, and goalies. So if you don't want to miss that, hit that subscription button and notification bell so you don't. But let's get into it and see what we got. Right here, you're going to see we have top 10 in 25 and 24. And top 10 and 25 we're going to get into. So we're going to drop back into 24 and see that we got a little bit of a difference. So in 24, Matthew Tkachuk was leading the way. And now it's Panarin. But Panarin was on the list before, so was Kaprizov, Jason Robertson. The top four have shifted around, hasn't really been much change. As we see here, Ovechkin is slowly drifting down the list. But Brad Marchand is not on the 25 list, so we're winning. And then we have 23 and 22. Now, Brad Marchand is second on the 22 list and fourth on the 23 list. So what's that mean? Down he goes to completely off the list in 25, which we love to see. But Jonathan Huberdeau in 23 led the way, and Ovechkin led the way in 22. So this is the top 10 and the history of it. But what does that mean for their Hut cards? Well, it means we're going to be starting at Ovi. We'll start at the bottom today, and we'll work our way up. Ovi was an 86 in Hut in 22 and 23, but then he had a big drop back to an 84 in 24, and we've seen him move down the list, and today he moved down the list even more in the top 10 left wingers. So what does that mean for Ovi? I think that means we're going to see another drop back in Ovi's overall for Hut, where I think, yes, we are going to see Ovi at an 83. So it's dropping him down a little bit, not crazy. He'll work his way back up in Hut throughout the year, but this gives them more room to add Ovi cards. Also, with the step back in the franchise mode online versus side of it, I think this brings Ovi back to an 83 in Hut and then just move from there. Now, somebody that got himself on the list and is a little bit of a mover in Hut if you look at it, Jasper Bratt. He went from an 80 in 22 to an 81 in 23 to an 82 in 24. Now, what does that mean for Jasper Bratt as he hits the top 10? I think he stays an 82. This is just, progression. They like to keep progression down. I think an 82 is a good spot for him. Maybe they give him a little bit more love on the skating and it bumps him up, but I don't think so. I think in 25, he stays at 82. Maybe in 26, we see him move up to an 83. But 82 in NHL 25. Now, this one I thought about for a little bit. I did think about this one for a little bit. Brady Tkachuk being number 8 on this list, 89 overall. Brady Tkachuk in 22 was an 82, and in 23 was an 82, and then in 24 he was an 83. Now, I would say that Brady Tkachuk would stay an 83 in 24, but however, I am going to change that and bring him up to an 84. I think Brady Tkachuk is being captain of Ottawa Senators. He's been playing unreal, and he's just progressively getting better, and they love the Tkachuk brothers in Hut and at EA, so I think Brady comes up to an 84, and he's going to be very usable at the start of the year with his size, speed, skating, shooting. Everything makes him a pretty big contender to be on your third line at the beginning of the year. Jake Gensel being traded, pretty big. I didn't think we'd ever see him move on from Pittsburgh, but we're going to get to see a new card for Jake Gensel, and that is going to be with the Tampa Bay Lightning. 82 overall in 22 and 23, taking a step up to 83 overall in 24. Well, when it comes to NHL 25, I think Jake Gensel remains at an 83 overall. He's a really good card to use. He usually plays all around a wall game, and you'll be able to snag him up pretty early at his cheap overall, but I don't see him going up, and he's definitely not going down. Forsberg is one that was interesting. So Forsberg goes up from an 82 in 22 to an 83 in 23, and then down to an 82 in 24. So when it comes to NHL 25, what is going to happen with Forsberg? I think he stays on his roller coaster trend, and I think Philip Forsberg goes up to an 83, making him usable, but he's always really been usable. His skating didn't change from when he went to an 82 to an 83, but when it went back down to an 82, his skating went up. So Forsberg will still be usable, but I think his overall goes up to an 83. Now getting into the top 5 list, this, like Forsberg, is a little bit of a roller coaster player. Kyle Connor in 22 was an 83 overall. In 23, Kyle Connor went to an 85. In 24, Kyle Connor went to an 83. And then in 25, I think Kyle Connor does not roller coaster and he stays at an 83. I think that's a good spot for him. The card's built well with his skating, his shooting, everything. Kyle Connor is an unbelievable budget player, and I think he stays at an 83, keeping him at an unbelievable budget player. Jason Robertson. This one was, it's going to bring controversy. This one will. But in 22, Jason Robertson was an 82. In 23, Jason Robertson moved up to an 83. And then in 24, he took a big jump up to an 85. Now, Jason Robertson is an unbelievable player with unbelievable skill, and he will get an unbelievable amount of cards to do so. But I think that jump to an 85 was a little high for him just on giving him more cards. Now, I think if they bring that back to an 84, that gives him more flexibility to add more cards in throughout the year, depending on early on how he does and all that stuff. If they give him an 85, I think that hurts how many cards they give them at the start of the year, because we see them, even though players will have big games, they'll hold them back because their cards are already too high. So I think Jason Robertson comes back to an 84, giving the flexibility to EA to give him more cards, because we know they love him. But does he drop to an 84? I think he does. Now remember, guys, I'm not dropping him to an 84 because I don't think he's a good player. I'm just trying to figure out the way of EA to benefit off of giving more cards to a better player that performs hot from time to time. Now, this third overall player that we're going to be talking about is Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk went from an 84 in 22 to an 85 in 23 to an 85 in 24. I think 85 is where they found his sweet spot, and I think that's where he stays. I don't see Matthew Tkachuk getting a purple card anytime soon because, they can't give 86s to everybody, and I'm, going to get into it in other videos, but I feel like there's going to be less base purples in NHL 25. We're just got to wait and see. That's just my hunch on how slow they want progression to go. So 85 to Matthew Tkachuk is where I think he's going to be. It's where I think a good number is for him to be. And he doesn't lose when they try to slow down progression, but he's not going to be gaining anytime soon in my mind. Kirill Kaprizov in 22 was an 83. In 23 was an 85. Big jump for him there. And then he digressed into an 84 in 24. So what does that mean for 25? Well, I think the 85 was actually a better spot for Kaprizov. So we're going to give him an 85 here in 25. I think he's going to come up and match Matthew Tkachuk is where I think he should be. Kaprizov is an unreal player, and I think he should be up at that 85 area. We'll have to wait and see what they want to do, because again, like Jason Robertson, if they want to give him a ton of cards throughout the year, they got to start him off lower. It's just the way it's got to be. But I think Kaprizov gets an 85 overall, and he becomes a pretty big card to get after at the start of the year. Now for the Breadman. This one is going to, don't even know how to say this one. Panarin was an 86 as he moved up the list in franchise mode and online versus. He moved down the list in NHL 24 and 23. So he was an 86 in 22, an 85 in 23, and an 84 in 24. Now, what was that? The drop down from 85 to 84? I think that was just progression. I think that was them slowing down progression by dropping everybody down in overall. So that's what you can chalk it up to. And I think he stays at an 84. With him being at the top of this list, should he move up to an 85? Yes. But I think he stays at an 84 because you can't have a pile of 85s and 86s. You have to have players in the 84 group, the 83 group, and whatnot. That's why you see a lot of moving around, because you got to try to piece it together so there's players everywhere instead of just one spot. So the Breadman, although is on first in this list, he will not be the number one overall left winger in NHL 25 Hut. I think he'll be an 84, putting him below Kaprizov and Matthew Tkachuk. I do thank you guys for watching that video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. It really helps with the channel. It means a lot to me, and it lets me know you're enjoying what I'm doing. If you don't enjoy what I'm doing, leave it in the comment section down below how you'd like to see it changed up, because I take the feedback and I love hearing it, and it will take the channel in a direction that might fit a little bit better. But at the end of the day, guys, we are right around the corner from NHL 25. I can't wait. You can't wait. And we are waiting like crazy for anything. And, well, we're going to go over overalls and hope we can predict them right. But thank you for watching. Till next time, ciao, ciao.